What's up, noobs? It's your boy the Noob. I got another manga recommendation for you that I think you'll enjoy. Of course, it's an Isekai because we know your boy here just loves his Isekai way too much. But this one is not about a hero. It is not about a demon lord. It is not about grand adventures. It is simply about a young lady being transferred into the world and realizing she needs to teach people how to cook. The title of this manga is called Isekai de Cafe o Katina Shinasata. The story is quite simple. You have this young 20-something-year-old office lady who is just your typical person. She goes to work, she enjoys her life, but what she loves the most of all is the food that she makes. Your main character's name is Lisa. One day while she's sleeping, she gets transported to another world. Now, she wakes up in the middle of a forest, kind of looks around a little drunkenly because she's just woken up, and she's met by a little tiny fairy. Well, after seeing this fairy and being told that she was brought to the world, she decides to go back to sleep because obviously this must be a dream. Luckily for this young lady, the fairy was able to find a noble family that was really close to the forest and get them to rescue her. She wakes up at this noble family's house, but luckily these nobles are, in my opinion, the best kind of nobles, the friendliest. You've got the husband and wife. There's no children, unfortunately, but you could just tell by the way they embrace this young lady and allow her in her house that they are the loving kind of nobles that I personally love to read about. The nobles that have rescued her are known as the Claude family. Luckily for her, they are okay with having her stay with them because the fairies have informed them that she was summoned from a different world, and they know that other worlders are quite special. So since she's new, she's not normal to this world, she doesn't know what's going on, they're like, you could stay here as long as you want, we'll take care of you, we're going to teach you about this world, which is how it should be. Remember that young fairy I told you about that found Miss Lisa in the forest? Well, luckily for her, she wants to stay with Miss Lisa. Apparently, off-worlders have a special kind of energy, and she is quite attracted to it. So she decides, I want you to be my master, I need you to name me. Lisa, being the cook that she is, decides to name this little fairy Basil, which, I'm sorry, is quite adorable in my opinion. Now, while she's in this world, she learns, of course, that it is quite different from her world. There is small bits of magic, like I said, there's fairies. It's almost towards the, I'd say, 17th, 18th century kind of technology. Nothing electric, but definitely not sticks and fire. But the one important thing that she learns is the food. One day, while trying some of the food, she came to a understanding that she really regretted. The food is fucking disgusting. And I mean garbage. The bread is rock hard. When they cook things in oil, they don't clean it off. They put it on the plate and there's oil all over the plate. There's no pasta. They don't eat rice. They don't even know what the hell sweets are. When she asks them about sweet things, they don't even know what a fucking cookie is, okay? That alone is wrong enough for me. One day, she actually loses it. She cannot hold it back, and she complains about how disgusting this food is. After apologizing to the family and the maid, she decides, hey, let me cook for you. Let me show you something from my world. What she decides to teach the maids and to show to the Claude family is pasta, which I gotta say, as someone who's a pasta junkie, great start if you're going to introduce food to another world. She literally takes all the maids into the kitchen, shows them how to make pasta from scratch, how to make tomato sauce from scratch, and then she feeds them to the Claude family and the maids, and everybody just falls in love with this food. And when I say fall in love, you ever had those moments where you find something that's so delicious you eat it like 3-4 times in a row? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, for a couple times? That's what happens to this family right off the bat. And she introduces more and more foods to the family. But she doesn't stay inside the whole time. See, now that she's cooking, she needs to learn about the foods in this world because they're not all the same. A tomato is not a tomato, and an onion is not called an onion. So she goes out to the shopping market and she decides to find out about these foods. While she's out in the market, she accidentally bumps into a knight. And unfortunately, she spills some liquid on him, because she was trying out a drink which was apparently very terrible. Now she apologizes profusely. She's like, I'm sorry I ruined your uniform, please forgive me. And then she hands this young knight a bag of homemade cookies that she made. While she was going around doing the shopping, she realized something. She needs to do something in this world. She can't just live off the nobles. So when she goes back to talk to the nobles, she tells them straight out, hey, I want to open up a business. I want to open up a cafe for myself so I can introduce the world to things from my world, especially the sweets. Of course, the family's concerned. They're like, hey, you can stay here. We don't mind taking care of you. But she is very much an adult. She's like, no, I can't do this. I can't keep taking you money. So you know what the Claude family does, which I think is the best thing? They adopt this girl right off the bat. They introduce her to all of their noble friends. They're like, here's our new daughter, Lisa. We have adopted her. Everyone accept her. And which is a good thing, because now that she's been adopted, she's able to buy property. Now they find an old bar that she found while walking around, which looked really nice. She buys it and converts it into a cafe. Now, of course, when the cafe finally does open, nobody really comes around because, like I said, bread is hard. And so no one really thinks about a cafe that sells soft bread, especially at a window that anyone could walk up to. Luckily, the Claude family comes by. They try some of the first dishes that she has, and of course, they love it. And they tell all their friends, and then everyone starts coming around. There's royal carriages that come by to pick up this soft bread and these things called cookies. You've got patrons coming in to find out what a sandwich is. You've got little children who don't know what a pudding is, who hear about this sweet, swirly thing, come in and just enjoy it. She enjoys feeding these people, introducing them soft food, and all sorts of other things. There is at one point where, when she was closing up shop, a drunken man came in. Because remember when I told you that this place used to be a bar? Well, this drunken patron apparently was someone who frequented it. When she tried to push him out, telling him this isn't a bar, he attempted to attack her. Luckily for her, that young knight came by and saved her and kicked him out, sent him off to the authorities, and said, I came here because I heard you opened up a store and I wanted to try more of those things that you called cookies. Luckily, at the time, she was experimenting with scones, and she asked this young man to sit down and try some. When he tries some, he finds out that he loves it, to the point where he starts talking with her. This is when she finds out that this young knight's name is Zeke. Zeke is apparently the captain of the Royal Guards. He's destined to go far, but he decides that he wants to come work with her because his life has been very boring and nothing has given him meaning until he tasted these sweet things that she gave him. It is at that point that she gains an assistant who used to be a knight. Now, the thing I love about this manga is it is just her adventures introducing the world to new things. And they're not like grand adventures like most isekais. These are just simple things. The hardest time she ever has is like stuff when the royal family asks her to cook for the big party where all the other nation capital people come to visit, and just the struggles of her teaching a cooking staff that really doesn't listen to women. Things that in this manga are just simple, sweet. It's just a young lady trying to show people the good taste of her world. And I mean everything from pasta to cookies to cake to puddings. I don't think they've reached ice cream yet, but I have a feeling they're going to at the rate they're going. This is a simple kind of manga. It's just every chapter has to deal with some sort of food. And speaking of food, at the end of certain chapters, which I think are the volume ends, you actually get recipes to some of the meals that are in there. And I gotta tell you, I tried one. It was a almond drop cookie, and I didn't think it was going to come out good, but when I ate it, oh my god, I could literally skip chocolate chip cookies and eat this all day long. I loved it. If you love cooking, you might as well give this anime a shot, and hell, you might enjoy some of the recipes that are at the end of some of these chapters. Well, folks, I'm a big fan of cooking, so whenever I see a manga about cooking, I do read about it. But what about you? Do you like cooking mangas? Now, I'm not talking Food Wars. I'm talking simple cooking, home cooking, stuff that you and your mom or your grandma would do. Those are the kind of cookings that I'm talking about. If those are the kind of cooking mangas that you're interested in, I want you to give this manga a try. Folks, I'm the Noob. I thank you for joining me, and I hope that this manga recommendation is something that you enjoy. Is there any other cooking mangas that you would like me to check out that you'd like to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, folks, I'm the Noob, and I'll catch y'all later. See ya!